Hi, I'm Elliot Chodoff. I'm from Israel. I was just with Gene Valentino on the Grassroots Truthcast. A great show, wonderful guy teaching important stuff to the American people. So please subscribe.
I remember the first meeting that I had with our chief medical team, and I said to them, when life comes down, you're going to be judged by the choices that you make. And when the choice to start this company came up, it was a no-brainer, because we all need to fight for what we believe in, and we need to strive for something.
I'm Dr. Heather Gessling. I'm a family medicine physician. I am the Chief Operating Officer for the medical team at the Wellness Company. We strive to base all of our decisions on science, and the lack of unbiased science in the last 2 years is one of the catalysts that has brought about the Wellness Company.
My role in the Wellness Company is going to be largely one of education and re-education of our physician corps, who are going to be administering medicine to large numbers of people, we hope, under our guidance, okay? We are not going to be telling them how to practice, but we are going to be telling them how to approach the patient in a different way. And that way involves returning to the first principles of medicine, which are the basic sciences.
Myself and the Wellness Company rely on data, scientific data, to drive critical decisions. But importantly, we must consider all available sources of data. Everything's on the table. Nutrition is basically what we put in our bodies, and you can imagine what we put in our bodies really matters. And nutrition science is going to play a giant role in the data-driven decisions and treatment plans that we devise at the Wellness Company.
So I'm Dr. Jen Vandewater. I'm a doctor of pharmacy. I graduated pharmacy college in 2006. I worked mostly for retail pharmacies, and through the years I noticed that it became very robotic. The pharmacy industry was no longer about patient care, and it became more fill prescriptions, give shots, anything you could do just to keep busy. There was no time for patient interaction and patient well-being. But while I was there, I was still seeing that people were on lots and lots and lots of medications. So as I was watching doctors prescribe more and more, I thought, well, how can I assist and help the patient realize they may be on too many medications?
Current medical practice is so completely off the rails that it almost has to be destroyed and rebuilt from the ground up, because we have allowed ourselves to be taken over by pharma for the most part. Most doctors just prescribe, they treat numbers as opposed to patients. They don't reverse disease, they maintain chronic disease. This is all wrong. Our approach is wrong. Our approach to these diseases is wrong. It is all based on giving a pill to treat a number. That is what modern medicine has become. We are not treating patients, we are treating numbers.
It's always been said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and if we can prevent an illness, we can prevent suffering, potentially hospitalization, progression of disease, and death. So prevention is absolutely critical.
I see creating an integrated healthcare system that focuses on prevention versus being reactive. I see a company that's going to continue to have amazing products and put third-party products on our store and in our platform that are vetted by some of the best physicians in the world.
What makes the Wellness Company's approach unique is that we're coming at different angles. We're not just coming into one area of health, we're coming into education. We're coming into training even providers on what health actually looks like. We've been kind of confused and misguided through the years, so the Wellness Company is hitting it in a way that nobody else has hit it before.
We have to go back to treating patients and getting them healthy again and maintaining that state of good health.
I truly am inspired to leave the world a better place than I came in. I want to create that change. I want to help people.
Grow in what you know about your health. Your health is yours. You own your body. We want to just guide you in that so you can make the right decisions for your health. And I'm excited to tell you that we're here and we're bringing you the best.
Those three little words: provocative, opinionated, entertaining. It's Melinda Richards on today's News Talk, TNT.
Well, I'm very excited today to speak to Gene Valentino. He created the Grassroots Truth, not a podcast, it's a truth cast. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And he was a former Escambia County, Florida commissioner. He knows his stuff about American politics. Gene, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just so happy you're here. We have got so much to talk about the week in review in American politics.
Thank you for having me, Melinda. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, I'm not sure where we start today. I mean, do we start with where's Joe and he left and then he came back from some sort of basement, the clown show that it's the Secret Service now and the resignation of the director, Kamala Harris coming out and stealing funds. I mean, which topic do you want to choose first? There's about 20 out there.
There's two metaphors that apply quite accurately. It's like drinking out of a fire hose, or the other one we use here is what part of the elephant do we eat first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's another one too. Don't blink, you'll miss a chapter.
Yes.
Well, right now today, going in reverse order, Adam Clark, Ruckus, who you had on earlier, really nailed it. We have just been presented with a series of facts that have to do with the integrity and legality of the campaign funding laws that go back to 1971.
Yes.
These laws definitely have impacted how the use of the $91 million from Joe Biden can or may apply to the Kamala Harris campaign for president.
Yes.
Now remember, the Democrat Party has not yet endorsed her at the convention as the candidate for president. She appears nowheres on the documentation of the Joe Biden for president campaign. And so the Republicans have a legitimate claim, which is being reviewed now, as to whether the $91 million of Joe Biden can apply to the Kamala Harris campaign. But this is part of something more conspiratorial that I think has a deeper roots. I have a friend I've just come back from a conference on. His name is Scott Walter, and he wrote the book, here, I have it here, Arabella.
Right.
And the Arabella booklet, this is a good read. This is worth getting into. It talks about how the likes of George Soros, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all these hefty political donations worldwide are feeding the Arabella advisors. And this entity then structures funding to various Democrat Party candidates to promote a George Soros social Marxist agenda, which is in part how Alvin Bragg and Jack Smith and Letitia James and the rest of the cast of characters got into office in the first place, as part of their other portion of the conspiracy in a court and judicial setting to try to take down Donald Trump.
Yes.
That's just a few weeks ago, and yet it seems so old, such old news.
It's like
Today's
history
news
now, isn't it? You know, I mean, the whole legal challenge to Donald Trump just seems like a century ago, given what's happened to him since then. And it's this idea of this, I guess, subversive Marxism that seems to have been permeating all of Western civilization at the moment. It's probably not just in the United States. I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. And there is a person standing up against it, and they're throwing everything at him. And it's just becoming more and more obvious every day. It's almost as though we're being treated like complete morons, that people would think that we would be still falling for every single thing that's going on right now. And it's all connected. I totally agree. We can pull it all together.
It's all connected, and I will say that there's more here than meets the eyes. Are you going to tell me that a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid was in the center unilaterally without any complicity with anyone else in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump?
I think we're just getting to a point now where it's so obvious that our conversations are now different to they were 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, conversations 3 or 4 years ago we were labeled as conspiracy theorists. We were told we were all crazy, that we were cookers. But now it's playing out, and so many people now who weren't even in that space have now looked around and gone, you know what, it's so blindingly obvious. A lot of the population are waking up to it. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, that's the only good thing coming out of it right now.
Well, that's the key to today's story. You had just hit the nail on the head. It's a problem if we didn't notice it and it was happening.
Yeah.
But today, because of social media and the expediency of information, we are getting this story out. And democracy, Democrat republic, constitutional republic that the United States has,
Yes.
the democracy that Australia has, allows for the grassroots, the people, to bubble up and come to the surface with their agenda, their ideas, their feelings, their platform, their policies, their principles. These things is what makes a constitutional republic so inviting. That's just why people are invading our border in masses.
Yes.
But the problem is, if they're doing it today, the social Marxists are doing it today to dilute that grassroots impact. But watch out, that door's going to swing back and catch them in the butt, because the very people that are coming here to enjoy these liberties and freedoms, including the press and the media, are going to find the door swinging back the other way. When these Marxists are in control, these Marxists don't want free press and free media. The very same door will come back and catch them in reverse. And I got to tell you, I think the beauty is exactly what you said. People are seeing it before it happens and going to nip it in the bud. And if America is the leader in the world, it will, regardless of your feelings about Donald Trump, we must get him in to stave off the threat of Marxism and to set the ship straight and set the norms in place again, so that liberties and freedoms prevail. It's got to come.
Absolutely. And that sort of leads me into asking you, what happens if Kamala wins the presidency? I mean, through whatever means that they are going to throw at Donald Trump, whatever, there's lots of options for them. I mean, they've tried everything and they've even fired bullets at him, but there are still other strategies I think they'll employ. So, but what happens? I mean, are we going to see Americans saying for the first time, you know what? No, this isn't what we're going to accept. We need to have a person in here that's going to, as you exactly say, we need to maintain our democracy. I find it really ironic that, of course, Kamala keeps talking about democracy and saving democracy. It's exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do. Do you think the American people are going to kick back and say no this time if Donald Trump isn't elected again?
Well, yes, if my word has any value, and you're not here, so take my word for it. They've put their thumb on the scale to move things in their direction, and they have succeeded in part. But America has finally awakened.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, they are not going to succeed. There will be another revolution in the United States, America, as there was in 1776 when we wanted to get away from the unilateral taxation and monarchy of the British throne.
Yes.
When we went off and became our own nation back then, it was because we wanted the people to govern, not the elitists at the top. George Clooney has no keys to the vault. George Soros and dozens of others at the top are no longer controlling the future.
Yes.
The Democrat Party is now awakening to the fact that they are not a party of the people. Just the other day, it was reported locally that over 7,000 registered Democrats and independents in the St. Petersburg, Tampa area of Florida transferred to become Republicans, not because they do like Donald Trump, but more importantly, they agree with Donald Trump's position and policies of protecting the democracy.
Yes.
And Donald Trump showed it himself, Melinda, when he put J.D. Vance in as vice president, his partner. Here's a guy, 39 years of age, you have to be under our Constitution, 35 years of age to run for president. But they brought this guy in at 39 years of age. He's the new generation.
It's the future.
We got to
isn't it?
flush out these old timers.
Yes,
Chuck Schumer,
exactly.
Nancy
I mean,
Pelosi,
yeah.
6 more. They're bad people that have tried to steer us towards Marxism, and it's failing.
You know, and the interesting thing about the Marxists is that they are so filthy rich. I mean, we're talking about these people controlling trillions and trillions of dollars between them, and politicians, you know, being billionaires. And it's just the great irony, isn't it, that we talk about Marxism and we feel that it's this Soviet-style Marxism of equality, but it's anything but that. It's the Marxism of the people at the top, a very, very top layer, and it's the great unwashed underneath. And that's what Americans will need to understand. And, you know, yes, well, it's a tipping point then. It's a tipping point.
Yeah,
This election
it sure
will be a
is.
tipping point in American history. And I guess we're living in a very interesting time for US. And I keep saying this on my show, that it is vitally important that everyone get their heads around what's going on in the United States, because it does impact every other Western nation, because this is global Marxism. It's not just whether American gets a Republican or a Democrat. It's not even left and right anymore. This is globalism versus, you know, someone that's going to be able to be a nationalist and look after his own country, so we can all start looking after our own countries and our own.
Yes, keep your eye on the politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, keep your eye on the politician. Donald Trump was a billionaire before he came into office. He truly, in his heart, wanted to do good and serve. He lost money in the last 7 years as an elected official 4 years ago. But Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, less than $100,000 of net worth, now into the tens of millions of dollars in their checking account, including Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. Those are the Marxists that are trying to disrupt from within. While they try to invade our border, they've invaded our political process as well, and they're trying to eat us from within. China, if they take us over, won't be bombs and nuclear missiles. It'll be the 350,000 terrorists that they've brought into our country that still remain unidentified. Over 200,000 Americans have died in the last 24 months from fentanyl produced by China. This is the eating and the destruction of America from within. And my only question to you is, why is Kamala Harris, the border czar, not protecting the border?
Well, she had one job, didn't she? She had one job. And there's no accountability, there's no transparency. And that just tells me, you know, we know Joe's not in charge right now. We know that. And so that just tells me, you know, maybe you could put the purple-headed people leader at the top. It doesn't really matter because she's just a figurehead, because it's just going to be more of the same. It's like, oh, well, we'll just put Kamala up there. She's, you know, the identity politics on steroids. She's a black woman. You'll get a group of people that will vote for that. So let's just do that. That's our safest bet, maybe, but we're still in charge. You know, maybe it just doesn't matter who you put there in the end, as sad as that is.
Yes. Well, the DEI concept is dying too. We want the best person on the job, not these check the box to make sure we've met all the qualifications. The Secret Service is a perfect example of that.
That's just the poster child. That is the absolute poster child of how not to appoint a leader. And you know what? I actually think that that is also going to almost be a line in the sand, a ground zero moment for this whole DEI concept. And I think that's going to go out of fashion very quickly now, because this can be a very, very good example of what not to do.
Well, I'm in favor of, in fact, I worked for a CEO when I sold my company and merged with a larger company on the New York Stock Exchange. In the process of my growth, I was the big shot CEO. And when I merged it in with another company, I worked for a CEO, and it was a woman. And I couldn't have been prouder to work for such a woman. We became great friends. She was a class act woman who knew her job, and I was proud to report to her. But I will tell you, this Kimberly Cheadle, who's head of the Secret Service, has disgraced this nation worldwide by the manner in which she testified the other day.
Yes, it was.
And Christopher Wray.
It was embarrassing.
Yes.
It was embarrassing for the country. You're exactly right. I mean, it's not just, she's representing all Americans. People in those roles are representing their country. They're not representing themselves.
The world is changing. It's happening quickly, but I do believe in the power, in the spirit of the human condition, whether it's Australia or any constitutional republic in between to over to America. I believe the people, the very social media and the speed of technology and information has backfired even on the perpetrators of fraud. And the very system will allow us to be very, very much in protection of our constitutional republics going forward.
Well, I mean, it's been amazing speaking to you today, Jean. Like, I really hope that you will be able to come back on the show in the future, because there will be still so much more to talk about in the lead up to the election and beyond. And you've given me an optimistic feeling about it all now, and I have a lot more hope. Thanks again.
It'll be Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is a last-ditch effort. Remember, the only reason Kamala Harris is there is because they expected Donald Trump to be in jail by now, and they failed.
Yes, exactly. They did fail, and they failed to make that bullet hit too. Thank you again, Jean. It's been wonderful. You're with TNT.
Hi, my name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. I'd love for you to learn more about Patriot Mobile, www.patriotmobile.com/Gene V. More importantly, I'd like you to be a subscriber to his show. I mean, his Truthcast is amazing. And if you get to listen to some of them, you'll never go back. I really encourage you to come watch it.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.